pocket wherever he went. So when Kenny's parents announced that they had taken new jobs and had already bought a house across the country in Providence, Rhode Island, he wasn't happy. He wasn't even sure he knew where Rhode Island was, other than near the Atlantic Ocean, 3,000 miles from the Pacific. He checked an atlas and discovered that the state, the smallest in the Union, is so small that the city of Los Angeles couldn't be fit into it. Little Rhodey, people call it. Rhode Island, he learned, calls itself the Ocean State. Its motto is hope. But hopeful was not what Kenny felt. On the day he was informed they were moving, the last week in April, it snowed in Providence. Kenny had seen snow on mountain peaks, but only from a distance. Kenny finished his school year. The family packed, they drove east. And it was mid-August when they rolled off the interstate. His father took 3 left turns, and there they were, Sheldon Street, their new neighborhood. "Welcome to Providence," his mother announced. What Kenny saw that day was as different from Los Angeles as he could imagine. The street was narrow, crowded, and old. The air was muggy. No majestic palms or sweet-scented orange blossoms cheered the senses. Only a few skimpy trees and old-fashioned lamp-posts. Though a few buildings were brick, most were wooden. Many had plaques which bore odd names and dates from long ago. When the houses were built, his mother explained. "There's ours," his father said, pointing across the way to number 15. Kenny looked. It was a broad, cream-colored 3-story building with wooden siding, shuttered windows, and a high-pitched roof covered with shingles. A central door painted dark brown stood above a couple of stone steps which rose from the narrow brick sidewalk. There was a plaque on it which read, "Daniel Stillwell House, built 1789. Inside was a central hallway and a steep flight of steps. On each side were the main rooms, rather small. Kenny drifted from room to room, downstairs and up. The movers hadn't arrived, so there was nothing in any of them. And yet, he remembers having the distinct sensation that the house was not empty. "What do you think?" his mother asked. "It's okay," Kenny told her, trying to sort out his feelings. "Which is going to be my room?" "We had an idea," his father said. "Follow me." He headed for the kitchen and a door Kenny hadn't noticed. It led to a narrow flight of steps that corkscrewed up 2 flights. Kenny followed his father. His mother followed him. At the top, they came into a long, open attic. There were 2 low windows that hugged the floor, ceiling beams above, a floor freshly sanded and oiled. A new bathroom. The whole area was bright but hot with stale air. "How's this?" his mother began. She was smiling broadly. Kenny looked around. "For me?" he asked. His father, grinning too, nodded to the question. "Really?" said Kenny. For the first time since he entered the house, he felt like smiling. What he saw was more space than he'd ever had, both private and special. His mother went on. "It hasn't been lived in for years. We did it completely over. If you want it, it's yours." "It does get cooler," his father added. He reached toward a skylight and pulled a pole. Opened wide, the skylight seemed to gulp like a gasping mouth. The air began to cool. Kenny walked the length of the attic, thinking of ways he could fix it up. "If you'd prefer," his father offered, "you can have one of the downstairs bedrooms." "I'll take this," Kenny said. At the far end of the attic, he came upon 2 doors. He pulled one open and looked in. It was a small room, no more than 9 feet by 12, the ceiling steeply pitched. Too big for a closet, but hardly big enough for much else.